Yo, it's good. It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. The Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies played last night. I don't really get into them that often, but I just thought that I should. This was one hell of a game, and I definitely want to dive into it. If you enjoy it, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. You know, I've been watching both teams just kind of out of the corner of my eye for a while, throughout the whole season, basically. Memphis decimated by injuries. John Morant out. Desmond Bain went out for a stretch. And then now in this recent stretch, they lost Vince Williams and they lost a bunch of other guys. Brandon Clark has been out, right? This team has just been decimated. And so there really wasn't a lot to watch except for guys like Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams. Guys who have been looking like, wait, where did they come from? Wait, are they really this good? You see guys like Santi Aldama, one of the few guys from the previous regime, from the previous run into the playoffs that they've actually kept around, right? David Roddy is gone. Kenneth Lofton Jr. is gone. John Conchar is still there, but I doubt for long. And so you actually see a couple guys emerging. So you keep an eye on them. It's like, all right, cool. All right. But, they're not going to win. They're just outgunned every night. And then Desmond Bain comes back. And all of a sudden, Gigi Jackson is in the starting lineup, the youngest player in the NBA. And he looks good. I mean, really good for a 19-year-old young man who I believe wasn't even drafted. Or he was late in the second round, which is something I never really understood. Like when you have a guy who's like top 3 in his high school class and then goes to a school where he has an underwhelming season, but he's still extremely young as a player, and he just wasn't in the best situation, so he didn't perform that well. But now you just give up on him. You don't even draft him. Like, wasn't this the same thing y'all did with Michael Porter Jr.? Right? Wasn't this the same thing that y'all did with Mitchell Robinson? Wasn't this the same thing that y'all do so many times? You guys haven't learned by now that it's better to take a flyer on an elite talent that may have just been in a bad situation in 1 year in college rather than not take him at all. And then all of a sudden he emerges. Well, that's essentially what has happened for the Grizzlies. Now flip it over to the other side with the Sacramento Kings. This is a team that's been stuck in the middle. Last season, they had great health when other people didn't. And they lucked out and ended up as a top seed in the Western Conference and still lost in the first round. Now, here's the thing. I don't think anybody looked at them last season as a top seed in the Western Conference and was like, yo, this team is here to stay. They're going to be a contender for years to come. Nobody thought that. And for some reason, the front office got cheap and decided not to trade Keegan Murray for Pascal Siakam. And next thing you know, they're dwindling at the middle to the bottom of the playoff pack. Now, I don't think anybody, once again, is expecting them to get out of the first round. Nobody looks at Domantas Sabonis and says, ooh, that guy is scary in the playoffs. He's great. He's amazing in the regular season. He might even have a better playoff series this year. He might just at least get to his averages, right? Still nobody's scared of him. And they really shouldn't be. He just doesn't have that game until he develops that jump shot where he's shooting it regularly and hitting threes like Brook Lopez has had to evolve his game to do. Until he's doing that in his prime while still being able to take you off the dribble, post you up, and run the little handoff action, until he can put his package together, his game is not really suited for the playoffs. He can do bully ball, but doesn't have the wingspan. So what are we talking about? And he can't really challenge the rim on defense, but he gives great effort. But it's still like, if you don't have somebody next to him to complement what he can't do, like a Pascal Siakam, then what are we talking about? We all love De'Aaron Fox. We all love Malik Monk, who's going to be a big-time free agent this summer, right? So it's all to say when these two teams came together, we can kind of see what was going to happen, right? Sacramento was probably going to win. Memphis was probably going to lose, but it could be interesting. Well, it was more than interesting. It was more than interesting. Memphis showed that they're going to be scary next year. And this is kind of one of the main things that I wanted to touch in on. If Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams comes back next year and are who they've been this season alone, oh my God. You got John Morant back, rested. Like, people really underestimate what it means for an NBA player to get a season of rest early in their career when they play so many games throughout the high school AAU ball circuit. And then they go into college. They're playing games. They go right into March Madness. Then they go right into pre-draft camp. Then they go right into the draft, summer league, training camp, preseason, and they start playing 82 games. And then they go year after year with this nonstop heavy load on their body. To get a year off in your early 20s allows you to refresh. Just ask Chet Holmgren how effective last year was for him. Taking off, letting his body rest, working on his game, getting his body strong. Do you know what Ja Morant's going to come back looking like next year? And then you see how Desmond Bane has evolved. Then you got guys like Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson alongside of him. And then you're going to have Jaren Jackson still. You're going to have Brandon Clark. And you're going to have all those weapons around them, Santi Aldama. Right? All of a sudden, this team is looking scarier and scarier and scarier. All that's to say, their ability to push the Sacramento Kings, who are playing at home, into overtime is just a testament of just how talented they are and how much their athleticism, scheming, and defensive ability, just how good it is. Sacramento was supposed to roll over a team that's at the bottom of the Western Conference, and they couldn't. They just couldn't. It wasn't about will. I know Kevin Huerter wasn't there, but still, what are we talking about? Kevin Huerter? That's the game changer for you? I mean, you kept Keegan Murray. He was supposed to be this next evolution of something, right? And this is what I said way back when. I said, yo, y'all are disrespecting Pascal Siakam. I know Indiana's struggling, but it ain't on him. He's doing his thing. He's still playing on both ends of the court, gets out in transition. He's able to play, make, facilitate, and score in isolation. And he does a great job defending and being able to switch onto the perimeter. That was the guy Sacramento needed to get. That was the guy that was going to tell me that Sacramento was actually serious about trying to step into contention. But they didn't want to pay that price tag. They knew he was going to ask for a max. And he still is. He's not going to be all NBA. So they kind of missed out on that one. And they're hoping that Keegan Murray is accelerated in his development. I don't see it. I don't see his development becoming so much more than what Kevin Huerter is. Yeah, he's going to be a little bit better, a little bit stronger, right? Maybe a little bit better at getting into the lane and maybe turning his body on somebody, put him in the post. Okay, he might have a little bit more versatile. I don't think he's going to be all NBA worthy. I don't even necessarily see all-star worthy. So what are we talking about? Sacramento is in one of those places where some teams and front offices get complacent. They get comfortable. They get content. And that's kicked them in the behind this year. Too big of a load on De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk has had a fantastic year in a contract year, of course. But he's also had fantastic years in the past couple of years. But outside of that, who are you really depending upon to score for you when it matters the most? You got a great two-man game between those two guards and Domantas Sabonis. But if you're asking Domantas Sabonis to bring you on home, especially in a playoff game, it's probably not going to happen. Not against Anthony Davis. Not against Luka Doncic. Not against LeBron. Not against Jokic. So what are we talking about? Not against Zion. Is he topping those guys? Is he gonna best Draymond Green? I doubt it. And this is where I was watching this game and it just became apparent. De'Aaron Fox was limping a little bit in overtime, gutted it out. But you see the offensive load that's placed on those guards because they don't have another serious option. Another guy they can defer to and say, yo, take this for a stretch. A guy who knows timing, who knows the ins and outs of competitive winning basketball, playoff level, can deal with the physicality, create their own shot, and get the call, has earned the respect of the referees to get the call that you can depend upon and pencil in for 20-plus points a game. And so they had to struggle against Desmond Bane and Gigi Jackson and Jaren Jackson Jr. You can just imagine what's going to happen next year. When Ja Morant returns, we're definitely seeing Memphis leapfrog Sacramento. You still got Dallas, who's looking better. You still got Houston, who's been on a run, who's going to get Şengün back, who's going to be another year experience, right? You have all these layers of all these teams who are getting better, and they just haven't. And so in this game, having to go to overtime in order to beat the Memphis Grizzlies, who have no point guard, who had Jake LaRavia as their point guard and Desmond Bane. You had to wait till overtime to get them when you're trying to win down the stretch to get into a playoff seeding and not be in the play-in tournament. I mean, they got the win. They got the win, but it wasn't impressive. It was a bit disappointing to see them stuck in the cauldrons of mediocrity. Not so much in play-in mediocrity or missing the playoffs, but you took a step last year and didn't follow it up. You didn't follow it up. You got complacent. And now you're potentially set back even further because I don't know who you go out and get at this point. Who plays that role? Who comes in and can be that secondary scorer in the starting lineup? Because we all know that Domantas Sabonis is just not built like that. He defers. He's best as your third offensive option. You need a guy who's 20 plus points a game. Maybe it's somebody like DeMar DeRozan. That could be a great pickup for you guys. But as always, I want to know what you all think. Get at me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Holler at me. Let me know what you think about this game. I think it's exciting to see what the future is going to be, more so for the Memphis Grizzlies than the Sacramento Kings. As always, it's your man 100 Grand Ross with the Rock Never Stops, and I'm out. Peace.